What makes Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood the greatest anime?
It's an anime full of incredible details. This is because the author, Hiromu Arakawa, had done extensive research to make her creation as vivid as possible. After finishing the show and learning all there is to know, it is very tempting to rewatch it just to connect all the dots for yourself, which leads to an incredible feeling of discovery, and you'll even find little things in the background that you may not have noticed before. It's a feeling you need to experience for yourself in order to genuinely appreciate the work and dedication she put into the story. It proves just how impactful a well-written story can be if you take the time to flesh out not only its characters, but also the very world they live in, which brings life to their universe. This is arguably the best aspect of the show, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. The detailed universe of alchemy and how it's connected to the storyline is what makes the show the best. It treats the countries mentioned as if they actually exist, each with their own history, government, culture, geography, etc. Take Xerxes, for example. What was first identified as nothing more than a mysteriously lost civilization soon turns out to be more impactful in the most unexpected ways. Not only was Xerxes a failed human transmutation experiment, but it also reflected the peril Amestris would be in if the Elrics did not do something to stop Father and his plan, which had been in motion for years, and was the very reason Amestris itself was created. Xerxes was more than a country lost to inhumane experiments. It was a dire warning for Amestris, a secret that had been hidden for hundreds of years, only to be discovered shortly before the promised day. Not to even mention the advanced alchemic secrets that died with the people of Xerxes. Then you have Qing, which is the only country we've had a good look at through the eyes of 4 natives: the 12th Prince Ling, Lan Fan, Old Man Fu, all from the Yao clan, and sweet little Mei and Xiao Mei from the lower Qing clan. Qing is a monarchy ruled by one emperor who reigns over 50 clans. The emperor takes the daughter of each clan's chief to be his concubine, who bears him a single heir from each clan. As you can imagine, succession is challenging.
That's rough, buddy.
Not much is known about Qing's geography, other than that it is very large and connected to Amestris through a vast and treacherous desert, making it hard to establish trade between the two. And though the other countries aren't mentioned as often as Qing and Xerxes, that doesn't make them any less important to the story. First, up north you have Drachma, the biggest and supposedly coldest country. It's known for its harsh temperatures, which only freaks of nature survive, and its long-standing tension with Amestris. Historically, Drachma and Amestris had many border fights, though throughout most of the anime, they maintained a shaky pact of non-aggression. This was until 1914 when Drachma tried to attack Amestris while General Armstrong was absent. It is unclear what Amestris did in response to that attack. Then you have Krita in the west, which is the country Ed heads off to at the end of the anime. Like most countries in Fullmetal Alchemist, Krita also had a border conflict with Amestris. However, Amestris only deployed its western forces, while most of Krita's forces were forced to defend themselves against the military. When Führer Bradley came into power, he and the homunculi heavily influenced this war against Krita as part of their plan to create enough bloodshed for the transmutation circle. Finally, the smallest country in the south, Ergo. This is a country of trade rather than military force. However, that does not save them from King Bradley's wrath. Ergo put up a stubborn fight against Amestris, despite the superior military power that the much bigger country holds. Furthermore, Ergo also played a role in the Ishvalan civil war of extermination by secretly providing the Ishvalan with weapons. However, they later denied involvement in order to avoid retaliation against Amestris. Though the anime doesn't centrally focus on the world beyond Amestris, the way the story manages to lace the participation of other countries into the plot is done flawlessly and naturally. Time and time again, I've watched an anime that goes no further than a single setting. Even fantasy anime that tend to go on adventures and journeys across worlds tend to fall victim to a plot hole, such as having a flat world. But not Fullmetal. Despite the limited visual involvement that we rarely see of other countries, it still takes time to connect those locations to each other to make its world feel bigger and more real in a way I have never experienced before.